Hi, I'm Laura Barto from Studio One Stampers. Welcome to week 2 in my series, 12 Weeks of Christmas for 2017. Today I want to tell you about this adorable quilt Christmas card. It features the Christmas quilt stamp set, the quilt builder framelits, as well as the quilt topper embossing folder. And the designer series paper that I've used is over here, and it's called Be Merry. It's in our main catalog. Well, let's get started. When I first got my hands on the 2017 Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog, I was just thrilled. One of my very favorite suites is this quilted Christmas suite, and that's where almost all the products that we're using today are coming from. I've got the cardstock pack, I've got the quilted top texture embossing folder, the stamp set, of course, called Christmas Quilt, and the quilt builder framelits. There's lots of other things that are also fabulous in this set, but let me show you how to make this card. So this is what the card looks like. I just want to come back and remind you what that looks like close up. I'm going to start by making this quilted piece, and I hopefully you can see the texture that's on there as well. Just an adorable card. So we're going to be using pieces from the Quilt Builder Framelits, and we're going to be using this piece just to cut out the stamped image and the piece behind, and then this is the frame for the quilt piece. And you can see it comes in 2 parts, and you do need to cut this with both pieces so that it will cut out with a little frame. So let me show you how that works. So I have a couple of pieces of paper here, white and lemon lime twist. So I'll take these, center them on this 3x3 square, run it through the Big Shot, and in order to keep these 2 pieces exactly centered, I'm going to stick a post-it note right on there before it goes through the Big Shot so that it stays exactly where I want it to be. Once they come out of the Big Shot, I'll show you what those 2 pieces look like. They look like this. So here's all the little pieces, and here's the frame. I've done it both in white and lemon lime twist. So I'm going to grab the lemon lime twist one and layer that onto these pieces of cardstock that I already have cut. So this is a piece of designer paper from the Be Merry, and I used that outside frame from the quilt piece I just showed you to cut that piece out. Let me grab that for you so you can see I cut that out already. So it's exactly the same size as my frame. So you can see those match up perfectly, cut with the same die. So I'm going to glue those pieces together first. And I'm going to be using my Tombow. And it's really important here to make certain that I don't have too much glue. I don't want glue oozing out. So I'm just going to spread tiny bits of my Tombow liquid glue on the corners, the center. Just kind of get some of these pieces. It's not super important that everything's glued down because I'm going to really be pushing it together with the embossing folder we use later. So here we go. Now I've got that lined up. All right. Oh, that looks great. So I have that layered together. Then I'm going to go ahead and layer that onto a piece of real red. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 square of real red. It's going to be die cut later, so it really doesn't matter the exact size it is, but I do want to get that into the center. So there we go. That's so easy so far. Now what I'm going to do is I want to show you what I went and remember when I did this, I'm just going to pull out the pieces that I want to put in here. Now I happen to know from my pattern that I want to put the corners, so I'm going to put glue in all 4 corners. These triangles in all 4 spots. So I've got the glue, I'm ready to go, and it's a matter of just picking out the pieces and putting them in like tiles. It's just so fun. I feel like this is the easiest way in the world to quilt. I have no sewing involved, although I love to sew, but I get a beautiful quilt pattern right away. So I'm just going to fill in all these little pieces. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm almost done. Put that little piece in, another little triangle here, and one more triangle. And that is all I need to finish my pattern. So there we go. Look at that. So, so simple. Now, what I want to do with this piece is I want to come in with the layering squares framelits. Now, this is a set of framelits that's just a workhorse as far as my studio goes. I use these all the time. I'm going to grab the very largest one. There are 19 different ones in this collection. I'm going to grab the largest one, and it has a scallop on the outside. And look at this. Do you see that that fits on there absolutely perfectly? You would think Stampin' Up! Planned that. Well, I think they did. So I'm going to take this and take it onto the Big Shot and run that through. So I'm going to have got my plate on the bottom, and I'm just going to set this up here. I'm going to put my plate on the top. Always want a sandwich, and run that through. I always feel like it's a little bit of magic when things go through the Big Shot. So here we go. I've cut out that scallop shape. See how it just drops out? And look at how pretty this is. Isn't that just gorgeous with the scallop edge on it? But wait, we are not done. We're going to do one more thing to this before we put it onto our card. We're going to use the Quilt Topper embossing folder. I don't know if you can see the shape on there, but it looks like a beautiful quilted top. I'm going to find a centerpiece on here that goes right about there. I don't think it really matters. And I'm going to come in and use the Big Shot again. Now this time with the Big Shot, I need to change over my configuration. So I need to take off the thin die adapter, just using the Big Shot platform. So I'm just putting the Big Shot platform on there. Again, I'm going to put a plate on the bottom for my sandwich, put the embossing folder on the top, and run it through. With these wide ones, I always like to check the width and make certain that I am not going to get my folder caught up on the edges of the Big Shot. So there we go. We're going to add this beautiful texture to the embossing. I cannot wait to show you how beautifully this turns out. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see the texture in there? I just love it. So now it's just a matter of putting together the rest of the card. And I've got some of the pieces already done for us, so you don't have to waste your time listening to all the details. So here it is. I've already got my real red card base. I've got a piece of white that's 3.5 by 3.5. I've put my greeting on, and here I've got that cute little piece with even with one of these new faceted gems on top. I'll take my little mini dimensionals. These are my favorite new item, these little tiny dimensionals. I'm going to pop this right in the center of the card, and there we go, all done. Isn't that just the most darling card?